Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.
A kí gbogbo wa nílé lóko lẹ́yìn òdì wípé a kú bójú ọjọ́ ṣe rí. A kí ẹ̀yin ìyá, a kí bàbá, a kí ẹ̀gbọ́n, a káàbọ̀. Èmi ọmọ yín àbúrò yín olólùfẹ́ yín Dr. Zabby Talk Show, ààyè ọ̀pẹ ọ̀ṣùyọ lọ́dọ̀ títí yín náà ní agbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run, ààyè ọ̀pẹ a máa yọ fún wa ni. Èwo la mú wá fún wa ní ọjọ́ títí òní? Torí pé fídíò tí mo fẹ́ gbé wọlé ó dàbí pé ó ṣe díẹ̀, mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ jẹ́ ká ṣe ní pápápá. Ó tán bí ò tán, tá bá sọ fọ́mọ ẹni ṣe bó yẹ kó gbọ́ ewu gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin tí ẹ sọ wípé ilé ti tó lọ, ìyà yìí pọ̀ jù, a kí yín o, a kí ara wa, torí pé kí ni bí ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé Ọlọ́run ò ní sọ̀kalẹ̀ láti wá fara ẹ̀ hàn wá. Èèyàn náà ló máa rán fún èèyàn wípé ṣàkíyèsí ara. Àwa dẹ̀ ṣàkíyèsí ara. Ara sọ̀rọ̀ fún wa. A gbọ́, a fìlẹ̀, ó rà wá lára wípé ewu ń bọ̀. Ewu ń bẹ lóko lóńgẹ́ fúnra rẹ̀, ewu ni. Ó ti ẹ̀ yà mí lẹ́nu, èèyàn kan kí mi wípé happy independent. Mo wo onítọ̀hún yẹn báyìí, bọ́ mi ò dé sí padà torí wípé kí ni ọ̀rọ̀ burúkú ò ní tẹnu wa bọ́. Ṣé nǹkan tó yẹ ká lè kíra wa fún ni? Mo béèrè ni o, gbogbo wa la mọ answer náà, gbogbo wa la mọ answer. Bọ́ ṣé rí corruption tó wà ní Nàìjíríà? Òun ló kó bá gbogbo Áfíríkà. Áfíríkà ló la àwọn tó kù, òun ló là lójú. Tó bá dẹ̀ tún fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ náà, Nàìjíríà ló máa ti ṣẹlẹ̀. Nàìjíríà láti kọ́kọ́ pinná èpè kọ́. Wo nǹkan tó jáde pẹ̀lú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, bàbá wa ní kẹ́ jẹ́ kó ṣe é, bàbá wa ní kó ṣe é. Wọn ò fẹ́ gbé fún bàbá wa torí ọ̀rọ̀ wípé ẹ wo bí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá Nation bó ṣe ń lọ nígbà náà kó tó di pọ́n sanwó fẹ́ni tán sanwó fún kó tó rán wá sáàárín wa. And at the end of the day, kò tí ì kú, kò dẹ̀ lè kú láéláé. Torí bàbá Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ó máa wà ń bẹ̀ fún 80 years ni. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ lọ Àbújá, ẹ̀yin dà lọ́jọ́ títí òní, èlò náà ti pín fún yín. Contract mélòó náà ti sign fún yín. Achievement mélòó ló ti wọ̀ gbé sí ayé yín. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wọnú flight lọ́jọ́ kìíní àná, tẹ́ sọ wípé bàbá yín ni o. Ní kò ń ṣe bàbá tiwa. Ṣé ti rí gbogbo èsì ìdánwò tó ń jáde fún bàbá yín náà sí? Ṣé ti rí gbogbo èsì ìdánwò tó ń jáde? Aláwa Yorùbá tó bá jẹ́ pé a fi ẹnu kò báyìí, mo yìí ń repeat ẹ̀sẹ̀. Tí Nàìjíríà bá rí àwọn èrò tó jáde nígbà Mohbad ní Ọ̀yọ́, Ògùn, ó jáde lọ́tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni o, kò ń ṣe the same kinní ni o. Ní ìmọ̀ pé máa sọ̀rọ̀ débẹ̀ mi bá gbé àwọn fídíò yẹn wá, àwọn ti Ògùn, àwọn ti Lagos State, àwọn ti Ọ̀yọ́, àwọn ti Ìlọrin. Kírú àwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn wá jáde wípé ó ti tó gẹ́, enough is enough. Even though kẹ́ bá sọ wípé ẹ fẹ́ break, kẹ́ tiẹ̀ sọ wípé corruption yìí ti tó, ìyà yìí ti pọ̀ jù. Ìjọba máa mọ̀ wípé ẹ̀ ń sọ nǹkan kan, ìjọba máa fìlẹ̀. Ìjọba máa fìlẹ̀ bọ́ mi ilé wa kúkú lè joyè ilé bàbá ẹ̀. Ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo àwọn owó ẹ̀mí òun ló san fáwọn pásítọ̀, àwọn imam, àwọn babaláwos, bóyá àwọn oníṣègùn ìjẹ́ la máa pè, èyí òun kò lè jẹ́ nínú wọn. Gbogbo àwọn fake tó ń pera wọn ní men of God, tó jẹ́ pé àwọn ló ń gbowó ẹ̀mí gbogbo àwọn tó wà lábẹ́ wọn. Àwọn ló campaign fún wọn, àwọn ló ń gba contract fáwọn ìyàwó wọn, àwọn ọmọ wọn, àwọn wá fi church ń bojú. Àwọn gan jọ ń lo àkáǹtì church fún charity wípé àkáǹtì charity ni. Brother mi àti sister mi, ẹ má jẹ́ ká lọ jù corruption. Cancer ni. Ṣé dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé àwọn cancer mi wà tó bá ti wọnú ara, wọ́n máa sọ fún ẹ pé kò sí nǹkan kan tó kò lè escape ẹ̀. Now, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ látẹnu professor wa kan náà, mi ò ní gbà wá lákòókò because àwọn fídíò tó yìí máa tẹ̀lé náà ó yí pọ̀. Àkí bàbá wa Kóìkì, ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ Kóìkì, ó wọlé sí wọn lára tán nínú London níbi tán ti gbé ọmọ àlè yẹn lọ sí court. And I'm pretty sure pé ó máa jẹ́ on the 3rd of October 2023 ló máa jẹ́. tá bá play ẹ̀ sí a máa mọjọ́ tí Kóìkì tó bá wọn débẹ̀ ó bá wọn wọbẹ̀ ni Nàìjíríà kánsà ni gbogbo àwọn olóṣèlú yẹn pátápátá àyàfi tó bá kọ́kọ́ ṣe wọ́n bákan náà ọ̀kan pín kíní yìí díẹ̀ ló fi kẹni tó wà ń lo òyìnbó ẹ gbọ́ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ń lo òyìnbó ẹ bá mi kọ́mẹ̀ntì ẹ̀ síbẹ̀ a ti rí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó lóun ò lọ sí Nàìjíríà mọ́ because tó máa lọ́mọ òun ò sí mẹ́lòmíì gan kò níyà kó ní bàbá mú aláwọn tó ń bá fẹ́ fún lówó èmi tiẹ̀ mọ àwọn èèyàn tó jẹ́ pé ó ní property ní Nàìjíríà tó bá fẹ́ lọ travel sí Dubai náà máa lọ tàbí kó lọ sílùú bòmíì ó sọ fáwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ ní pé tóun bá kú ẹ má gbé òkú òun kọjá lọ́nà Nàìjíríà yìí ilé tó ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ó fi ń ṣe charity ni wọ́n ń gba owó ilé yẹn tó fi ń ṣe charity tó ń fún àwọn ọmọ aláìní tó ń fún ẹbí tó ń fún ará wọ́n nílé tó 3 ní Nàìjíríà títorí ó yẹ wá sọ fún mi ariwo tá à ń pa yìí ṣé tiwa ni ṣé títorí tiwa náà ẹ má jẹ́ ká lọ ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ lọ gbọ́ ẹ farabalẹ̀ o ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ gbọ́ lẹ́nu pòfẹ́sọ̀ kẹ́ gbọ́ ìtumọ̀ corruption kan bá wa kọ́kọ́ pieces ẹ̀ díẹ̀ mi ò ní jẹ́ kó lò ju 5 minutes lọ so that a máa lè rí àwọn videos tó kù láti lè sáré tètè lò ẹ ṣé gan ni ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ sáré mu cup of tea náà.
You're welcome. Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel and follow on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.
Given the honor and privilege of occupying in Liberia once told me, a friend of mine, Boima Fanbule in Liberia once told me that corruption is a nice name for theft. And he said, let us just call it what it is. It is theft on an industrial scale by people who have been given the honor and privilege of occupying public office. That is what corruption is. And it is a monster which has and continues to ravage the whole world. We know of corrupt regimes in Europe. Italy at one time in Europe used to be infamous for her corrupt leaders and her corruption and the mafia, and I'm not saying that they have disappeared. So that corruption is known to all civilizations. Europe was like that. If you go to the United States of America, there was a time when you had corruption on an industrial scale. And we know that was something that happened in the 1990s, in the 60s, and continues today. Latin America, we have seen kleptocratic regimes. In the Caribbean, we have seen kleptocratic regimes. In Asia, we have seen corrupt regimes. And I was just thinking about America, and I had forgotten to mention about Alphonse Capone, who was one of the greatest purveyors of corruption and a corrupter of government officials. But I was talking about Asia. If you go to Asia, you'll find very many regimes of that. And in Africa, we tend to talk too much about Africa as if Africa is the home of corruption. No, what you see in Africa in terms of corruption is not grand corruption. Grand corruption exists elsewhere. It is much more visible and possibly much more painful in Africa because its impact is so very evident in all sectors, whether it is in agriculture, whether it's in infrastructure of the public or for public benefit, whether it's in the health sector, in all sectors. That is why the corruption in Africa and Asia particularly is more debilitating and therefore much more publicized, and is a dangerous thing. The international community, of course, has many times come out and spoken and declared itself on corruption. The UN Convention Against Corruption, the African Charter Against Corruption, and domestically people have enacted laws in Africa. But let me tell you, like my friend Okonjo Iweala, who is now the head of the WTO and used to be a minister in the Nigerian government, fighting corruption is a dangerous thing. It is a dangerous thing because the politicians don't want corruption to be fought. They speak against it at public fora, but let me tell you, they don't mean what they are saying. I had the honor and privilege of serving as director of an anti-corruption body in Kenya. And I remember many meetings that I held with senior government officials. And I can tell you they were not interested. Not those in government, not those in opposition. I remember at one time during the administration of President Kibaki, I sought and obtained audience with him. And I indicated to President Kibaki that we were going through investigations and almost 10 members of his cabinet were under investigation. And I named them privately, and I still will not name them publicly because of Official Secrets Act. And he told me, Kazi, fanywe tu, let the work be done. And I told the president at that time that what we want is for Parliament to grant the anti-corruption body the power to prosecute without going through the office of the Attorney General at that time. And I told the president the reason why I'm asking that the law be amended in this regard was because whenever we send files to the Attorney General, he sends them back to us, ordering us to investigate things that have been investigated. Of course, we tried what we could. I remember attending a meeting chaired by the then Prime Minister when the law was being changed, and I made certain suggestions, and I remember members sitting there retorted, do you want us to make laws for angels? What I'm saying, therefore, is the politicians, not one of them, if there is one, I'm struggling to remember, who actually wants corruption to be fought. And when you go out to fight corruption, they'll fight you. They'll try to create things against you. And I've seen it across the continent of Africa. I saw it with Nuhu Ribadu in Nigeria. I saw it with McCarthy in South Africa. They even disbanded the organization. I've seen it recently in Malawi with the lady who is in charge of anti-corruption, Martha. They don't want you. They try actually to get things so that you yourself can be charged and arrested for corruption. They can amend laws in order to abolish your office. They amended laws in Kenya when on the occasion of the change of the constitution, they amended laws to abolish the offices that we occupied. And I remember, I'm writing my book and it shall come out, those who sat at a room in Kisumu and said, he must be removed. If he is not removed, all of us are going to be in jail. You go and read the Hansard at midnight on the day that they were changing the law to abolish our offices. And yet, at public rallies, in their political manifestos, they claim that they want corruption to be fought. They are not interested. And I want you to look at any one of them. When I was the director of the Anti-Corruption Authority, I wrote to the then Speaker of the National Assembly asking that I want all the wealth declarations of all members of Parliament. He refused to give them to me because I wanted at that time to say, let us have an amnesty so that the thieves can come and they surrender some of their wealth, because prosecution is very difficult, and even the institution that we go to prosecute these cases are themselves, some of them susceptible to manipulation. Not easy. And the other thing that we forget is that the social acceptance of corruption in Kenya, like most African countries, is also very high. We tolerate and love the corrupt. I remember at one time, we had caused several cabinet ministers to be arrested. One of them, actually, when we said we wanted to arrest him, said that the director of the Anti-Corruption Commission should go to his office. Can you believe it? Of course, we refused, and he came to our office. And you know what he told me? You take me to court very quickly, I'll be acquitted. And you know he was? He was. And I remember some of them whom we caused to be arrested, and as they were coming to the Integrity Center, they had crowds coming to them and saying that we should be killed. And they are saying they are thieves, but our thieves. That is the level of acceptance of corruption in this country. We know individuals who are thieves. They have run down public institutions. And yet on the voting day, they are elected. When they go to churches, they are given front seats and allowed to use the pulpit to talk. When the pastors, some of them see them entering the church, they stop the sermon and hold special prayers for them. Of course, prayers should be said for them, but not the kind of prayer that they are given or that is prayed for them. Social acceptance at all levels, until the day that we morally rearm, we are not in a good space. And I tell you, in this country, one of the most dangerous things to be in Kenya is to be.
Cup of tea.
You're welcome. Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel and follow on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.
Be honest. If you are honest, the system works against you. The system can't be manipulated against you. And that is why we continue to punch below our weight. Because as I've said elsewhere, and I repeat it here, we have allowed hyenas to take care of goats. And what they do is that they eat those goats. Hyenas will never change their hyenahood. They can only become bad hyenas. Corruption is a cancer. And those of us who choose to speak about and against it, it is dangerous business. Have there been leaders in Africa who have dealt a blow to corruption, reduce it to a level where it is the exception rather than the rule? Yes. Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere in Tanzania. John Joseph Pombe Magufuli also in Tanzania. Kwame Nkrumah in his first years in Ghana. Kenneth David Kaunda. Sanseretse Kama. And of course, Paul Kagame in Rwanda. Sasiwurs Ramgulam in Mauritius. It can't be done. But it requires men and women who are resolute. Recently, I saw the president of Tanzania, Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan, order people out of office, and she meant it. You must mean it. It's not for scoring political points until we forget. It must be sustained. Outside of Africa, Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore became a testament to how corruption is to be fought. And he fought it successfully. And you can see what Singapore, a little island that boasts very little, what it does. It can't be done. Because 90% of people actually want to do the right thing. They are only victims of corruption. That's why they are quick to pay the traffic police. That is why they are quick to give somebody who is processing their passport. That is why they are quick to pay their village headman. That is why, because they are victims, because we have normalized corruption, we have normalized the absurd. We have changed our creed. Our creed is greed. It can't be done. The shortest avenue to ending corruption must come from the top. If we see cabinet ministers who are thieves, governors who are thieves, being arrested and their property being confiscated, and we write here, this property once belonged to so and so, who was a thief, it is now a public library. The world will know.
Is it possible in Nigeria? We are talking about Nigeria. 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 Is it possible? Question marks. Tó bá jẹ́ bíi Togo, bíi Cotonou, bíi Lomé, bíi Côte d'Ivoire, gbogbo àwọn obìnrin ìlú kéréje. Tó bá jẹ́ wípé àwọn Biafra dá dúró, wọ́n lè fight irú nǹkan yìí. Tí Yorùbá land tó bá dá dúró, wọ́n lè fight irú nǹkan báyìí. Bàbá mi, ìyá mi, ẹ má kánjú, àwọn fídíò ń bọ̀ tẹ́ máa fi mọ̀ wípé kó o ṣe fight ní Nàìjíríà ni. Ẹni tó wà lókè gan fúnra rẹ̀ gan ń corrupt. Ìgbà tó ń pariwo pé Tinubu òun ló ṣe léyìí lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, òun ló ṣe kinní kan lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Ó ṣe nǹkan 100, òun dẹ̀ gba bíi 65 nínú ẹ̀. 65 ló lọ sápò Tinubu nínú ẹ̀. Òun náà dẹ̀ ló bá ó sọ náà. Ó ní ẹ gbówó wá, a máa wọlé. Ó ní nǹkan tówó bá ṣe tì, owó náà ló tún máa gbé dìde. Okay, at the end of the day, nsìn tí result wá jáde láti Amẹ́ríkà wípé fake ni gbogbo nǹkan tó fi wọlé, kí lẹ tún fẹ́ ṣe fún un? Ẹ lè fight ẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà la sọ sẹ́. Àwọn tó ń lọ fún ìgbà tó ń fẹ́ vote, tó ń lọ ṣe investigation pẹ̀lú pé wọ́n fẹ́ vote, ṣọ́n ṣòjóró tàbí wọ́n ṣòjóró. Ìgbà tó ń padà sí bíbá, kí ni result tó ń fún àwọn ìjọba? Kí ló ń ṣe sí? Kí ló ń ṣe sí? Ṣèbọn sọ wípé election yẹn ò wá okay. Kí ló wá ti díẹ̀ jáde? Kí ló ti díẹ̀ jáde? Oh my God. No. Ẹ jẹ́ bá mi máa fi comment, ẹ máa fi comment sílẹ̀ ní comment section. Kí lẹ rò wípé a lè ṣe? Kí lẹ rò wípé ẹ lè ṣe? Especially ẹ̀yin wọn Nàìjíríà. Bàbá ti ń count down ní month tó ti lò. Some year tó kù tó máa lò. Ẹ wo bí ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà bó ṣe rí. Ẹ wo iye nǹkan tí owó dà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí ń sẹ̀. Ká wá sọ wípé òkè o, torí pé wọ́n má lọ máa kó ọjà òkèèrè wá ni. Company wo ló wà ní Nàìjíríà tíjọba dá fún wọn? Church àti mosque tó wà ó pọ̀ ju iléeṣẹ́ lọ. Àwọn iléeṣẹ́ tó tún wá kù nsìn, àwọn tún wá ń sá kúrò ní Nàìjíríà torí wípé ọ̀rọ̀ petrol, ọ̀rọ̀ fuel, ọ̀rọ̀ diesel, ọ̀rọ̀ iná lọ́rọ̀ kan ṣá kò jẹ́ kán gain ọjà tó ń tà. Wọ́n láti máa kó àwọn companies wọn lọ sí àwọn ìlú bòmíì tí iná wọn stable. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ bí 1 minute sí kí n wá gbé fídíò mi wọlé.
That once you are a thief, we'll never forget. We buy you from holding public office. You must, the fight against corruption must be vicious. That's why education is very important. It must be vicious. People must suffer pain. If they don't suffer pain, then they will continue to participate in it, and they'll do all that there is to deal with the few that are not participating in it, and they will try to recruit them. You know, corruption is systemic. It is both systemic and coherent in the manner in which it operates. The political class and the bureaucrats create a system which only works on the basis of corruption. Systems can be created and they can be made to work. You go to Rwanda now, if you want a passport, you'll get it. You don't pay a dime. You go to Rwanda, drive on the streets, you'll not pay a dime. You go to Rwanda, and I've done it, you can cause a company to be incorporated within 1 hour. It can be done. During John Joseph Pombe Magufuli's presidency in Tanzania, only recently, I'm giving you a more recent example, things can be done, systems can be cleaned up. And we know that there are places where things can be cleaned up. It is just a question of sustained political action, and you re-educate the people and make corruption expensive and painful. Then it can be done. It's not something that has not been done. It's something that can be done and has to be done. And if it is not done,
Now,
then
it can be done, but it's not in Nigeria because Nigeria is so corrupt. Àwọn tó wà ń bẹ̀ gan. In short, now, God bless you, Professor Mulumba. God bless you, sir. Now, let's go to which one we are going to. Nípa ṣé ti Kóìkì ni ká kọ́kọ́ lọ ni o, má ti jẹ́ ká lọ sí ti Kóìkì náà. Jẹ́ ká tó máa fi mọ̀ wípé corruption tó wà ní Nàìjíríà cancer ni, ó ti jẹ wọ́n nínú, àyàfi tó ní kálukú bá lọ ń lọ ẹ̀. Òun nìkan ni èpè kọ́. Tó bá yẹ pé Nàìjíríà dáa, ó dùn, àìníbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run. Ẹ wo ìmúra tó ń lọ, ẹ wo àjì tó ń lọ. Pẹ̀lú gbogbo bó ṣe lọ, mo kàn lọ gbogbo kiri yẹn ni. Kó má sí bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run kankan bẹ̀. Tó bá jògùn náà fi ní kán lọ búra ni, bóyá gbogbo orú nǹkan báyìí ò bá dínkù bí Ṣàngó, bí Ọya, bí nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn kán ní ẹni tó bá ṣe kinní kan. You can imagine. Ẹ wá àṣírí Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu tó tú wípé fake result ló ń gbé jáde, fake school result, òun orúkọ ẹ̀kọ́ ló lọ sí school yẹn. Obìnrin lẹni tó lo orúkọ yẹn. Ẹ wo, wọ́n ti release ẹ̀ náà. But at the end of the day, a sọ wípé òun ti jẹ́ náà nìyẹn. Àti ìmọ̀ ibi tó máa bára wọn fàdé. Gbogbo nǹkan tó so mọ́ tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ wípé àwọn young person wà tí bàbá ìgan lè fà sílẹ̀. Tó ń di wípé bàbá ọba máa jọba or something like that. Ìlú dẹ̀ bàjẹ́, ẹ dẹ̀ mọ̀ wípé òkè opportunity leléyìí tó lè fi yọ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kúrò nínú oko ẹrú. Kó tiẹ̀ ní òkè ẹ fọwọ́ mú nǹkan tẹ fẹ́ mú, ẹ tiẹ̀ jẹ́ ká ṣe bọ̀ irọ́ ni. Corruption lè kúrò àyàfi tán bá pín ìlú yẹn. That's it. No.
Sectors of the African economy. But to be honest, if we do not get leadership right, no matter their investments, our growth will be slow and insignificant.
You're welcome. Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel and follow on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.
We as individuals do not fix our minds. Let me explain.
This man you see was a two-term governor of a state in Nigeria. He was sentenced to 12 years in prison for diverting over 8 billion naira of the state funds into a private account. Barely 6 months after his conviction, he managed to get out of jail. Now, that sounds bad, but what is worse is this. When he got out of jail, he was welcomed like a hero. This man pleaded guilty for stealing over $250 million when he was the state governor. He was sentenced to 13 years in prison and he served only 4 years. When he returned, he was also welcomed like a hero. This man right here is the current serving governor of a state. He was caught on camera taking $5 million bribe from a contractor. Even with this evidence, the people still supported him and made him a two-term governor.
Now you can see that it's impossible to get quality leadership if we don't build a society of quality individuals. The king is nothing without the kingmaker. And in this case, we are the kingmakers. We the people give them the power they possess. Until we build our minds to look beyond religious and tribal sentiments, we will continue to have leaders who will steal public funds and open the gates to foreigners to take our resources while we continue to struggle. Our biggest problem is ignorance. So that is why you have to share this video, because the more enlightened Africans are, the better our chances of building a better Africa.
Honorable men are not honorable. Without Tinubu, I wouldn't have lost more than half the people I grew.
Just imagine. Can listen dada. Ṣeré ìta ọkọ̀ wò tán yẹn. Ẹ kàn imagine wípé tó bá mú wọn tán bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn tó bá tún jáde. Wọ́n máa celebrate wọn ni. Ìgbà wo ni corruption gangan ló fẹ́ kilẹ̀ or corruption ló ń kill wọn? Èyí tó bá lọ tó bá jọ máa celebrate. Bí kò tí mo pé òun lè ṣe nǹkan kan, mo yìí ń gbé tí kò ì kí bọ̀ o. Àwọn tá bá ti wò, àwọn tá bá ti wò. Èyí tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí bàbá Tinubu yìí ó fi hàn wípé corruption ò lè kúrò. Ìgbà tí bàbá yẹn ti mọ̀ wípé òun ti ṣe, kí ló máa wà nínú rẹ́kọ̀dì? Kí ló fẹ́ wà nínú rẹ́kọ̀dì? Báwo lẹ̀yin Nàìjíríà báwo lẹ fẹ́ ṣe? Ẹ̀yin wọn Nàìjíríà báwo lẹ fẹ́ ṣe? Rẹ́kọ̀dì wo lẹ fẹ́ fi sílẹ̀? Báwo Nàìjíríà ṣe fẹ́ dá gangan? Bàbá yìí débẹ̀ tà ìdébẹ̀. Bí Gates ti wá kí pẹ̀lú Dangote. Bill Gates tó lóun fẹ́ pa ìdajì nínú àwọn Áfíríkà tó láfíríkà ò wúlò. Ọmọ máa import kan wá sí Nàìjíríà ń sìn tó jẹ́ pé àwọn nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé ó lè pa àwọn èèyàn lára. Ẹ wo bí àwọn èèyàn ṣe ń pọ̀ sí lójoojúmọ́, kò ṣẹ́ àti jẹ àti mú ó nira. Wọ́n wá pawọ́ pọ̀ láti short. Now,
Oh, I am very, very happy. I thank God for Tinubu. Without Tinubu, I wouldn't have known that we can have fake bishops. Without Tinubu, I wouldn't have known that some men that I thought were honorable men are not honorable. Without Tinubu, I wouldn't have lost more than half the people I grew up with and thought were my friends, who have now discovered are largely ethnic and ethno-religious jingoists. And they are not just Yorubas. Some Igbos are among them, and some Hausas as well. I'm talking about friends across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Tinubu has been very good at unveiling the true nature of people. So all the horrible people who had been busy protesting to be men of God, one can see them clearer. That's because of Tinubu. If Tinubu were to be a man whose evil was ambiguous, if it was possible to say maybe he's not bad, it would have been very easy for them to continue pontificating and sounding like men of God. But the fact that the man is so unrepentantly and clearly evil, and they have found accommodation for him, and they are the ones excusing the evil, explaining the evil, looking to normalize the evil. They don't even mind taking off their own garments of honor to cloak a filthy felon. Tinubu can only be thanked though. I thank God for Tinubu. Without Tinubu, I wouldn't know the things I know today. Some people I thought were men. In fact, some people I thought were gods have been revealed to be men. Just men. So Tinubu has been a very good thing for this country. Excellent thing. How would we have known how useless our judiciary is if it wasn't for Tinubu? Tinubu has been a fantastic blessing to Nigeria. So now we know that some men who used to pontificate about honesty does not matter to them. Men who used to talk about citizenship, freedom, electoral rights, it doesn't matter to them. Now we know. If it wasn't for Tinubu, how would I know? Some men would have gone to their graves with honor if it wasn't for Tinubu. Do you know how many people Tinubu has turned naked? No, I am thankful for Tinubu. Tinubu is the best thing that has happened to me in my adult life. He has helped to bring, with his darkness, he has brought light. You know when you turn on the light in a room full of rats and you see them scurrying away? That's what Tinubu has done. Without Tinubu, we wouldn't have known just how depraved our society has become. All of a sudden, in this society, it doesn't matter that a man's name is unknown. It doesn't matter that his parentage is unknown. It doesn't matter that he probably went to school being a female. It does not matter. Nothing matters again because of Tinubu, and you say I shouldn't be happy. I'm exceedingly happy at this emergence. He has shown the decadence of the society. Tinubu is the mirror that has been pushed in this society's face, and I'm enjoying watching every minute of it.
Oh my day. Now,
we are going to be doomed. And corruption is very expensive because there is informal taxation. And this informal taxation only oils the pockets of individuals who continue, therefore, to be parasitic upon the society. But leadership must be resolute. They say in Kiswahili, fish rots from the head. Once you are a leader and you tell the people that this is the direction to follow, the people invariably, 9 out of 10 people want to do the right thing. They don't want trouble with the law. But there is a small percentage in Africa, not more than 1%, these thieves, and most of them happen to be in the political class. Our political class and our politics attracts our worst people somehow. And that is why we pay for it. We pay for the sins and the greed of only a few people. Young people represent both the present and the future. And the way you train young people, the way you inculcate a sense of moral and civic responsibility is what defines who they are. Do they believe in their country? If they are Kenyans, if they are Tanzanians, if they are Africans, do they have self-esteem? Young people must be made to have self-esteem. They must love themselves, respect themselves. Do they adore material things? Because the adoration of material things is what makes people to participate in corruption. Do they believe in intergenerational responsibility? In other words, do they believe that they are only in this world for a short time and they will sooner leave this world and go to the next? Do they know that material things, the consumption of material things is like taking salty water? The more you drink, the more you want. Have they read the story of Alexander the Great, who at age 36 or 33 had conquered the entire world, and on the day that he died, asked that his casket be made so that he could have his hands outstretched, so that his casket could be carried by his physicians to tell the world that even when you are a great man and you are about to die, the greatest physicians will never stop death, and that in the world you came with empty hands and empty-handed you leave, so that they know having material things does not take you anywhere, that happiness comes from within, as Mahatma Gandhi used to say, not from without. That is the kind of young man that I want. That young man must liberate himself and herself from attachment to material things. They must know that money.
How this one, our youth so in Nigeria, our gan ti corrupt. Tẹ́ bá mú ọmọ 5 years jáde ní Nigeria lọ́jọ́ títí òní, kọ́ máa gbé ní church, kọ́ máa gbé ní mosque, àwọn gan ti corrupt. Torí pastor ń ṣe nǹkan burúkú gan sí ọmọ kékeré ń rí tó rò pé ọmọ yẹn ò gbọ́n kò rí òun. Àáfà ń ṣe nǹkan burúkú tí ọmọ kékeré ń rí tó ń mọ̀ tó dẹ̀ ń fi pé ọmọ yẹn ò lọ́gbọ́n kò mọ nǹkan kan, ọ̀ kò wé pé àṣegbé ni ọmọ yẹn ìkéré, kò òun ti fún ní nǹkan kan tàbí òun ti brainwash ẹ̀. By the time tí ọmọ yẹn gan tóun náà bá máa dàgbà, ọwọ́ yẹn náà ló máa gbé. Ọmọ mi wà lórí ọ̀dọ̀ ìyá ẹ̀, ọ̀dọ̀ bàbá gan ló ti rí ọ̀rọ̀ nǹkan yẹn kóun gan tó lọ school. Tó bá kó àwọn ọmọ school jáde, 78% nínú wọn corruption, ìwà burúkú ó ti fọ́ wọn ní orí. Ó yẹ wá sọ fún mi, ní Nàìjíríà yẹn ta lẹ fẹ́ gbé fún? Torí ẹ̀ ló jẹ́ pé tí nǹkan bá jẹ́ 9, tá bá pín ní 3-3, ó máa tètè níyànjú ju wípé kó wà papọ̀. Nàìjíríà yẹn ti pọ̀ ju nǹkan tó jẹ́ wípé tó bá ń kápá gbogbo corruption tó wà ní gbogbo àgbáyé, tí Nàìjíríà ẹni tó máa wá kápá ẹ̀ láì má jẹ́ wípé wọ́n pín, ìlú yẹn máa wọlẹ̀ ní pé kọ́. Níbi tó ní kálukú ti ń sọ wípé kọ́lọ́run ṣáà jẹ́ kí n rí tèmi ṣe. Níbi tí àwọn òyìnbó ti ń sọ wípé Ọlọ́run kí la lè ṣe sílẹ̀ fún àwọn generation tó ń bọ̀. Níbi tí òyìnbó ti ń wò wípé owó tó ń wọlé fóun tíjọba ń sọ fóun yìí ó pọ̀ ju owó iṣẹ́ òun lọ. tó tún máa pè wọ́n wípé ẹ ṣe calculate nǹkan yìí dáadáa, owó tẹ̀ ń fún mi yìí ó ti pọ̀ ju owó mi lọ, ó ti pọ̀ ju owó tó yẹ kí n gbà lọ. Ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹni tó lóòótọ́ ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, kò sí torí pé ó lọ sí church, kò lọ sí church, kò lọ sí mosque, kò lọ síbi kankan. Ó lóòótọ́ ju ẹni tó lọ sí church tó ń lọ forí dólẹ̀ ní àjì, tó lọ forí dólẹ̀ ní Jerusalem anywhere lọ. Ẹ bá mi fi kọ sí comment section, ta ló lè bá wa ṣe corruption Nàìjíríà, ẹ̀yin wọn Nàìjíríà àti Yorùbá nation náà. Ta ni ó lè bá wa dẹ́kun cancer tó wà ní ara gbogbo àwọn olórí, gbogbo àwọn ajẹgúdújẹrá? Now, ẹ jẹ́ kí a wá lọ sí ti ọ̀dọ̀ ti Ọláyọmí Kóìkì.
Bring you the live feed for the very first time.
Oh, sorry.
So that is the Zeni there, as you can see. She has perfected her bail condition, and now she's heading out. All the Nigerians can see Koiki Media, Star Radio UK, as we bring you the live feed for the very first time of Alice in Madueke. She must I'm sure many Nigerians will be excited to see her right now. That is the face of Alice in Madueke, the former
ojú ẹ̀yẹn, you know, ẹ jẹ́ ká wò náà.
Oil Minister in Nigeria.
Yeah, ojú ẹ wò. Ẹ máa mọ̀ wípé áhòdì ló jẹ́. Nígbà tí nǹkan yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀ sí mi, bóyá 8 years ago nsìn, nígbà tí Jonathan tó wà lórí oyè ni, ẹni tó kó owó tó jẹ́ wípé in short, àwọn eléyìí, àwọn family Dúpẹ́ Onítìrí lélẹ̀, àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé kọ anything tó bá ṣáà ti jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ owó, àwọn family Dúpẹ́ Onítìrí lélẹ̀. Àwọn family Dúpẹ́ Onítìrí òun lè rí, òun lélẹ̀. Obìnrin dẹ̀ wá ni, báwo ló ṣe wá fẹ́ dá? Ẹ wo iye owó gold tó ń bá lọ́wọ́ àwọn people yìí. Irú eléyìí náà sì ó lò ó ni, àwọn èèyàn kan náà lò ó wípé wà ń bẹ̀ ṣe báyìí fẹ́ kó ṣe nìyẹn. Mo mọ nǹkan tí mò ń sọ torí ara àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé irú ẹ̀ ó ń lò wọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ tá a mọ̀. Tó o bá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, iṣẹ́ ẹ̀ ti tán. Ẹni tó jẹ́ wípé mímọ́ ló bá débẹ̀ gan, pásítọ̀ gan ló bá débẹ̀ gan, ìgbà tó débi tá à ń sọ yìí kò lè yí òun padà. Torí òun náà ti rí wípé ọ̀rọ̀ Jesus Christ ò kan ọ̀rọ̀ yìí mọ́ o. Nǹkan tó yẹ kó òun ṣe fún 50 years within a year, òun máa wà òkè pẹ̀lú kinní. Wọ́n máa pa òun dání. Àwọn family Dúpẹ́ Onítìrí lélẹ́yìí. Àwọn family Dúpẹ́ Onítìrí lélẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré lọ play. Oh my God, ibo ni màá ti sáré rí? Okay. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré lọ play message. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n mò ń bọ̀. Oh my God. Now, ẹ máa wá gbọ́. Tẹ máa fi mọ̀ pé family Dúpẹ́ Onítìrí irú wọn òun lélẹ̀. Tí Dúpẹ́ náà bá rí irú eléyìí torí pé owó ọ̀fẹ́ ó máa kó jẹ. Irú owó ọ̀fẹ́ tán sọ fún Dúpẹ́ Onítìrí tó fi wá dì wá lọ́wọ́ mú nínú Yorùbá nation, òun náà lélẹ̀. Òun ní kọ́kọ́ ẹ fi comment sílẹ̀ ní comment section. Oye tí bèbí yẹn kó, ọmọ ẹ̀ ni mo pè, kò ń ṣọmọ ẹ̀, ọmọ tí yẹn tún bí hàn lè ná tán. Kí ló fẹ́ fi ṣe? Now, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́, ọ̀rọ̀ ló wọnú ọ̀rọ̀. Mo tiẹ̀ ní mo fẹ́ ṣe lọ́tọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ níbo. Ọ̀rọ̀ ló wọnú ọ̀rọ̀ because nǹkan tó bá jọ nǹkan òun la máa fi wé nǹkan. ẹni tí Dúpẹ́ sọ wípé òun rán lọ sí UN toró sọ wípé ẹ ń pe òun. Dúpẹ́ ní àwọn tó organize ní UN tó organize program yìí wípé ó ń pe òun. Ẹ lọ wo program ìjìnlẹ̀ bóyá bíi 2 weeks ago ń sìn tó náà pe òun tó wá fi rán bàbá Fálétí lọ tí ẹ wá fi lọ ń fídíò ní toilet tán láwọn ràn yàn lọ tí Jídé náà ń sẹ pé ẹ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ tẹ wà yìí ẹ Olúwa ti ṣeun. Irú àwọn èèyàn báyìí tẹ̀mí èèyàn ò jọ lójú tí wọn ò kẹ́ ẹ̀ tó ò kẹ́ ẹ̀ wípé kí ọ̀sán kó má di òru kí òru kó má di àárọ̀ tó ò kẹ́ ẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé orúkọ Ọlọ́run ni. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré play audio yẹn mi ò expect pé máa play. Ẹni tó ń pariwo wípé ẹ lọ bèrè lọ́wọ́ Olódololúwa ẹ lọ bèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn kan ó rí ẹni tó rán lọ ó rí ẹni tó lọ represent ìyá ń bẹ̀ ó rí ẹni tó rán lọ. Bóyá ẹ̀yin kan ti gbọ́ bóyá ẹ̀yin kan ti gbọ́. Onítọ̀hún yẹn sìn ló fi mẹ́sẹ̀jì ránṣẹ́ bó ṣe pàdé ẹni tó lọ ṣe fídíò ní toilet. Ẹni tí Onítìrí tó láwọn rán lẹ́pẹ́ owó yín o kò dín nǹkan kan o ẹni tó lọ sí UN àwọn tó lọ sí UN o kò ń ṣe owó yín lọ́ lò nǹkan kan ò dín nínú owó yín o. Ẹni tó wà nínú UN tó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà ń bẹ àwọn èèyàn wa Yorùbáwùyí wà ń bẹ Yorùbáwùyí àwọn náà lọ síbi rally àwọn èèyàn wa tó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà lọ ta ló rán wọn lọ àní fámílì kan náà lòun àti ẹni yìí. Olè ajẹgúdújẹrá ni àwọn pípò yẹn àwọn tó ń lẹ́mìí ìbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run nínú tó dẹ̀ rí àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ kan tó jẹ́ wípé wọn ò lo oògùn fún wọn bọ́ ọpọlọ wọn ó wà lábẹ́ ẹsẹ̀ ogun kọ́ brainwash ni brainwash a dẹ̀ ti fi oríṣiríṣiríṣiríṣiríṣi láti fi ṣe ẹ̀sáǹpù fún yín àìmọye àwọn ẹlòmíín wà bẹ́ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé ó mọ òtítọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ bọ́ a ti padà ẹ wá imagine irú bàbá Fálétí yẹn bàbá yẹn ti máa lọ bí 80 tí ò bá wà ní 70 á wà ní 80 kí ló bàbá yẹn kó ìmáa ṣe láńgbáláńgbá ẹni tó lọ ń fídíò ní tọ́ílẹ̀tì tó mí ẹlẹ́ẹlẹ́ bí ẹni tó ń yọ̀bọ sí lẹ́yìn ọrùn ẹ jẹ́ asáré gbọ́ ilé ẹni tó ń sọ wípé ó rí òun o ẹ ń rí àwọn ibi táwọn wà ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ láti ẹnu wọn.
Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá mi àti ẹ̀yin bàbá mi ní nílòkò níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà orúkọ tèmi náà ti yí padà o Prophet Ológunlolúwa mo kí wa mo gbàdúrà wípé Yorùbá nation is not going back gbogbo ohun tí oníkálukú wa bá dẹ̀ ṣe Ọlọ́run kó san fún wa o gbogbo aládé ìjì gbogbo nǹkan tá a bá ṣe àtọmọdé àti àgbà lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tí ìjìnlẹ̀ sọ mo máa ń sọ gbogbo ìgbà I'm a leader. So I watch my statements all the time, and I'm very 100% careful about what I say. So what do you say? Ní rally ọ̀dọ̀ wa nígbà tí ṣe rally síbi tí United Nations wà, ó jìnnà gan síra wọn ní entrance síbi tí wọ́n máa bá wọlé ní United Nations síbi táwa ti ń ṣe rally. Ibi tá a ti ń ṣe rally gbogbo all over the whole countries. Ibẹ̀ náà assign fún gbogbo èèyàn láti ṣe rally kì í ṣàwà nìkan gbogbo other countries pàápàá ibẹ̀ yẹn ni. And if entrance United Nations dẹ̀ wà sí ọ̀dọ̀ wa, ó jìnnà. Kì í ṣe bí tẹ́pẹ́ lè dúró sí tẹ́pẹ́ tí lè ná ọrùn tẹ́lẹ̀ rí géètì ibẹ̀ gan ṣe tàbí tó wà lọ́wọ́ lè rẹ ní tó wà ń sàlẹ̀ bíbá náà kò sí nítòsí ara wọn ó jìnnà gidi àwọn tó wà mọ bíbẹ̀ ṣe rí. So èmi lọ gbé nǹkan nínú mọ́tò ọ̀nà tó wọlé sí ibi tá a ti ń ṣe rálì yẹn ọ̀nà kan ni so àwọn ọlọ́pàá dẹ̀ máa wà lójú ọ̀nà tó máa ń check-in. So ibi tí èmi ti lọ gbé nǹkan nínú mọ́tò mi àti àwọn èèyàn mi ta lọ gbé nǹkan nínú mọ́tò pé àtúrà ti ṣe tán gbà àwọn èèyàn fẹ́ jẹun. So ibi tá a ti lọ kó àwọn kankan nínú mọ́tò tá a ti ń bọ̀ ibẹ̀ mo ti rí bàbá yẹn ní ẹgbẹ́ ojú ọ̀nà èmi gan mo tiẹ̀ kí wọn ẹpẹ̀lẹ́ bàbá ṣe àlàáfíà ṣẹ́mọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ káàrọ̀ òjíire ọmọ Yorùbá àtàtà àtọmọlúàbí míwàá mẹ́fà wa ni wọ́n tẹ́lẹ̀ kó tó rí pé wọ́n kúrò lọ́dọ̀ wa so kò dẹ̀ possible kí n rí wọn kí n má dẹ̀ lè kí wọn so gẹ́gẹ́ bí aṣíwájú and àtàdarí so mo ní láti kí wọn mo dẹ̀ because mo kó àwọn kan dání mo kàn walk away. So what àdọ́dọ̀ tí mo jẹ́ bí ta ti ń ṣe rally ní grand ọ̀dọ̀ wa àwọn èèyàn wa gbogbo wọn wà ń bẹ̀ ṣe nǹkan tá à ń ṣe lọ́wọ́ mo wá rí bàbá wa sàlẹ̀ díẹ̀ ní tòsí ọ̀dọ̀ wa gangan very close to Peter wa wà yẹn so bá ṣe wá mo wá sọ fún àwọn èèyàn pé bàbá yìí wọ́n sọ fún àwọn ẹ̀pẹ́ wo bàbá náà.
Bàbá Pálẹ́tì ọ̀kan fẹ́ dárúkọ ẹ̀ ni.
So bá ṣe ráńdọ̀ tàfẹ́ máa lọ ojú ọ̀nà yìí náà ni wọ́n wà wọ́n á lọ kí wọn ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ bàbá báwo ni ṣé ẹ ń bọ̀ fún ẹ wá fún rálì wa ni because àṣìnira lọ́jọ́ kejì ọjọ́ Tuesday lọ́jọ́ yìí so ọjọ́ Wednesday àṣìnira rálì wa ṣé wá fún rálì wa ni wọ́n nílò pé delegate Onitiri ni wọ́n ti dé látàní Onitiri ni wọ́n wá fún ìgbàkàwọ́ kan wọ́n ní okay no problem that's okay Ọlọ́run tún wa lérè o Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ fèrè sí olúkálukú mo dẹ̀ ṣe work away ní because mi ò ní time láti máa bá wọn ro ẹjọ́ lọ títí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn but ṣé rí the truth of this matter is very simple we are all learned.
Oh yeah.
And kò sí ọmọdé ní gbogbo wa ṣé mi pé like nǹkan táwọn èèyàn máa ń sọ evidence shows a lot of things. Now tó wẹ́ pé lóòótọ́ ni wọ́n wá sí United Nations tí wọ́n invite wọn United Nations will never invite individual for any reasons.
Okay.
Go and read the history very well. Okay. And check that out.
Okay.
So United Nations kò ní invite individual. Okay. Never, and it will never happen. That is number one. Now, nígbà tó ń wà ní United Nations, ṣé àwọn ẹni kan ló lọ ni? Àwọn tó ń jọ lọ sí United Nations yẹn, ó yẹ kán lè ya fọ́tò papọ̀. Then post it síta. Then ìgbà tó ń wà ní United Nations yẹn as a delegate.
Yeah.
Because ibi tó máa jókòó sí United tó ní wọ́n pọ̀ tó ń lọ yìí. Gbogbo wọn tó ń jọ lọ yìí nínú United Nations bẹ́ẹ̀ ó yẹ kán lè ya fọ́tò. Ó yẹ kán lè ṣe fídíò. Gbogbo wọn ṣe jọ jókòó. And thirdly, nígbà tí wọ́n address ti United Nations wọ́n address pé okay o ẹ̀yà Onitiri o ibi tó ti sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn clip àárín yẹn ó yẹ kán lè
kárí
wọ́n lè record àárín yẹn. That three
is enough
to even show any evidence. We need that Prophet Olókunlóluwari need.
Oh my God!
When you have those three items at hand, then you are good to go. Then you are good what? You are good to go. Ìyẹn látọ̀ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ máa post síta àtẹ̀másẹ̀ sáwọn èèyàn káàkiri ẹ wo nǹkan tó ń sọ ní United Nations ẹ wo bí tó ti dárúkọ ìyá o ẹ wo àwọn tá a lọ sínú ibẹ̀ o àwọn tá a jókòó nìyí ìyá àwọn tá a ṣe fídíò ní fídíò gbogbo wa nìyí fọ́tò gbogbo wa nìyí that is just
a rí fídíò toilet.
I'm a law enforcement agency. So this is a very simple.
A rí ibi tó ti ṣe fídíò ní toilet.
Láti ra
tó ní bí ẹni tó ju ẹ̀ṣẹ́ sínú sọ́pọ̀lọ́.
Ẹni máa sọ pé ẹnìkan rí àwọn ẹnìkan rí. No, gbogbo bàbá yẹn wá sì tò sí ọ̀dọ̀ wa ń bẹ̀ yẹn kábàá lè rí òun ni. Because tọ́ ni wọ́n wá sí ó jìnnà sísun ó jìnnà gidi sí ọ̀dọ̀ wa. Kì í ṣe ibi tí èèyàn lè dúró tó ti lè máa ríra wọn ni.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Mo fọwọ́ tẹ nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ má bí.
It's very far and it's only if àwọn nìkan ni mo rí kì í ṣe mi ò.
Ó mọ̀ wá sọ́nà bí tán wà ní.
Àwọn nìkan lọ. So tó bá pẹ́ lóòótọ́ ni wọ́n wá síbẹ̀ tó invite wọn.
Ó mọ̀ wá kán lè rí òun.
Ibi tó ti ń kí speech wọn lọ́wọ́ ibi tó ti yọ jókòó tó ti wọ́n ti yọ jókòó ibi tí wọ́n ti gbogbo wọn jọ yà ó yẹ kán ṣe ìyẹn. This is 2+2. This is a very simple thing. Èèyàn ní ìdí ara.
Oh my God.
Very simple thing. And you need the analysis to go here and that is not. We are all learned people. Wow, need people all this I want paparazzi I want fake all this I want paparazzi on people here. No, it's not working. It's not how to adulterate. Game to play here àwọn primary school ló ṣe ń play game yẹn kì í ṣe game táwọn secondary school gan dey play.
Can you imagine?
So telling the whole world pé wá represent ibìkan ẹ wá sí dedicate.
You can imagine that, eh?
Ẹ wá represent ibìkan ẹ wá sí dedicate and there's no any concrete evidence to prove to the people that wait, this is your presentation when you are giving when you are there. This is you when you are giving your presentation.
Who am there? Who am toilet? Yeah, who am there?
And this is when the United Nations is addressing the person that sent you to the United Nations. Can you video come on, we are all adults. Me, as like I said, I'm a leader. I don't talk anyhow, and I don't give my time to what is not worth it. My time is very precious, and I have a lot of things that is so precious to me to spend time in glory, not on something that is not relevant. So that is not even worth it to be debate on. I don't have time. So that's just it. Gbogbo ilé tó ń sọ káàkiri ìgbà tó ń ṣe káàkiri wọ̀nyẹn wọ́n kọ̀ wọ́n lọ fọ́ọ̀mù ẹ̀ ní ọkọ̀ ṣe ilé tó ń wọ̀n ni ọ̀rọ̀ yín wá ìgbà àtàwọn kan. I don't give my time for all that shit. That's just it. So bó ṣe jẹ́ ní ẹ̀yà mi gbogbo nǹkan tó bá mọ̀ pé wọ́n ṣe kiri kan prove ẹ̀ kan sẹ́ndẹ̀ sáwọn èèyàn káwọn èèyàn rí.
Wọ́n prove ẹ̀ náà wọ́n prove ẹ̀ wọ́n ṣàwà ní toilet ẹ máa rí fídíò yẹn tí mo ṣe mo gbé wá ó wà ní toilet tán mí tán wọṣọ náà bí parí olódó tán lo chain tán lo fìlà bì tán ṣàmú gbogbo agbádá tán lọ tó ti wà láti bóyá 50 years ago tán ti lọ Nàìjà ipò lóníkálukú wọn ń wá ipò irọ́ dẹ̀ ni ipò irọ́ fámílì Onítìrì òun lélẹ̀ fámílì ẹ̀ lélẹ̀ owó ẹ̀jẹ̀ owó ọmọ kékeré owó àgbàlagbà owó tó yẹ kí ìlú òun gangan ìlú ibi tán ti dẹ̀jẹ̀ lé lórí kán tiẹ̀ fi ṣoríire kó fi kọ́ school kó fi ṣe nǹkan mèremère síbẹ̀ tí ò fi ṣe tó kó wá inú UK sì ló ti ń ṣẹjọ́ fámílì Onítìrì ni Onítìrì ibo ló wà Kóìkì ń wá ẹ tó bá mú ẹ ní London kò owó I'm pretty sure wípé visa ẹ ti máa expire nù visa Dúpẹ́ máa ti expire tí ò bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni a ti rápálá wọ Amẹ́ríkà tàbí kó rápálá wọ ibìkan Nàìjíríà yẹn náà ló ṣe wà mo ìdẹ̀ yìí ń gbé fídíò kan bọ̀ lórí fídíò ẹ̀ lórí condition ẹ̀ tó wà ní Nàìjíríà ó kàn wá lo bóbò fún wa nínú Yorùbá nation ni fámìlì ẹ̀ òun lélẹ̀ fámìlì ẹ̀ lélẹ̀ fámìlì ẹ̀ lélẹ̀ mo ń gbé fídíò kan bọ̀ lẹ́yìn èlé mo máa gbé fídíò Onídúpẹ́ gangan wá máa gbé fídíò Dúpẹ́ kan wá màá wá ṣàlàyé fún yín lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Dúpẹ́ ò lè kúrò lẹ̀ ẹ̀yin kan tẹ́ ẹ mú kọ́mẹ̀ntì pé ẹ kàn fi sílẹ̀ ẹ má jẹ́ kí inú bí àwọn èèyàn Dúpẹ́ òun ṣe ni tó lè fi sílẹ̀ àló wá ẹni tó wá ba nǹkan jẹ́ wọ́n máa ń ní ẹ̀kan jẹ́ kó ṣe tiẹ̀ tí ẹ̀ wo ló ń ṣe kó ní kálukú ṣe tiẹ̀ ẹ̀yin kan tẹ́ ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run ni ṣé ẹ mọ nǹkan tí wúmà yẹn mọ nǹkan tó ti bàjẹ́ ni ẹ mọ nǹkan tó ti ṣe fún wa ni ojú àpá ò lè dàbí ojú ara ojú àpá ò lè dàbí ojú ara ẹ jẹ́ ká máa gbọ́ ti Kóìkì lọ Kóìkì nìkan kọ́ ìwọ ó tiẹ̀ wá sí London kó wo nǹkan tá lè ṣe fún ẹ nǹkan tá lè ṣe fún ẹ o máa ń rí àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ kan mi ì fẹ́ máa lo English láti porúkọ wọn àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ kan gbogbo àwọn kan tó máa ń wá láti Africa ó mọ nǹkan tó máa ń ṣe fún wọn especially láwọn London yẹn àwọn bíi France náà máa ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn Germany máa ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tó máa nà wọn tó máa yí wọn mọ́lẹ̀ lórí títì tó máa nà wọn tó máa yí ọjọ́ tí bàbá Tinubu fúnra rẹ̀ wá mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣe orí pọ́pẹ́lọpẹ́ àwọn security gan ni ò jẹ́ káwọn ọwọ́ àwọn ayé gan kò tẹ̀ fílà ẹ̀gán náà bá fi gbá ojú ẹ̀ fún ìpètàn ní àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá lọ síbẹ̀ wọ́n lọ ń pariwo Yorùbá ló jọ̀tá Yorùbá ló ṣe kinní kan ṣó Onítìrí ò kì í ṣọ̀tá ọmọ Yorùbá ṣé lè yí ò kì í ṣọ̀tá gbogbo Nàìjíríà bóníṣìírí ṣe jẹ́ ọ̀tá ọmọ Yorùbá náà Kóìkì mò ń gbọ́ ẹ lọ jàre brọ́dà mi à ń gbádùn ẹ̀.
Under Jonathan. Once again, this is the Star Radio UK, the finest African.
Ẹ wo lady yẹn ẹ wo láti bí 8 years nílẹ̀ bá fi mọ̀ pé young lady ni it's not 60s ojú tí ẹ ń wò yẹn ń ṣe 60s that means bóyá ó máa wà níbi 40 bóyá ń sìn bóyá ó máa wà níbi 50 bóyá 51 50 or 52 lẹni táwọn ojú ẹ̀ yìí ló máa jẹ́ mẹ́ẹ́.
And Caribbean radio station in London. She has
ṣe rójú ẹ̀ dáadáa ẹ́.
actually perfected the.
ṣe rí ẹ wò náà ẹ wò kí wàá wò pẹ̀lú Dúpẹ́ kí wàá wò pẹ̀lú Dúpẹ́ Onítìrí tó lò òun kinní kan ẹ ṣé ojú yín ò tí tó jáde gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ní ẹ filẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kó ṣe tiẹ̀ kí ló yìí ń ṣe tẹ́ ní kó filẹ̀ kó ṣe tiẹ̀ kí ló ń ṣe pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní UN tán ìlọ ní tí ò tí ju 10 days yìí ká tún gbé gbogbo proof wá ẹni tó yẹ kẹ́ máa mú èpè kẹ́ máa ṣẹ́ èpè fún ẹ̀yin ní ẹ fi sílẹ̀ tí ò bá jọ pẹ́lọpẹ́ àwa ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ Ọlọ́run tá a panu mọ́ táwa yìí bá dàbí tiyín ní kó máa bàjẹ́ ju báyìí lọ ni ṣé bá panu mọ́ fún tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ wo ẹni tẹ́ bá mọ nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ sọ ẹ má kọ́mẹ̀ǹtì kankan ẹ tún ra fi ẹni tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ Dúpẹ́ ẹ fi sílẹ̀ kẹ́ máa wò tí ò bá ṣe wò ẹ má wò tẹ́ bá ti mọ̀ ẹ pọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́nu ẹ jáde ńbẹ̀ àwọn tó bá ní interest á gbọ́ bìkọ́ ó ṣèkà fún wa ni inú ẹ̀yin lè máa dùn ẹ̀yin lè wà níwọ̀n Nàìjíríà nǹkan tó ń ṣe yẹn ó lè dùn mẹ́yìn inú lẹ́sìn máa kọ́mẹ̀ntì pé ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ fi sílẹ̀ ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ ṣe kinní kan ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run kan fi sílẹ̀ àtọ́jọ́ tá a ti fi sílẹ̀ ńkọ́ gbogbo eléyìí tó ń ṣe yìí tá à ń gbó síta yìí tó yẹ kẹ́ máa sọ wípé àdúpẹ́ ìṣọ́ tí ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣe ẹ try ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ yín àṣọmọbìnrin ó tiẹ̀ ṣe tó tó ìfáwọn ọmọ Yorùbá òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ wo lẹ tún fẹ́ rí ju àwọn proof tá à ń mú wá yìí láì má jẹ́ wípé ọpọlọ onítọ̀hún yẹn ó ti sá sábẹ́ tán.
70,000 pounds bill, and she's not going to be traveling anytime soon, according to the information. So you've been in UK for the last 8 years.
Sherry, bó ṣe wà yẹn, ẹ wò ó bó ṣe wà yìí, ó dàgbà jù bóyá kò lè ju 55 lọ. Àwọn èèyàn kan ló ń jọ wà bóyá jẹ́ pé àwọn èèyàn kan àti àwọn Dúpẹ́ Onítìrì bọ́n ṣe jọ wà àwọn àtàwọn èèyàn kan náà ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn.
So can you tell us why we've not seen or heard from you for the last 8 years? Once again, she's still right here with us. And once again,
we're seeing in Nigeria today is part of that story.
Ẹ má bínú. Níbo ni ti kó ìpinnu wáyà?
What has that got to do with you? Don't ask me any question about it's okay. It's okay. Harass a journalist in the UK. You think this is Nigeria? So that's her there. And this is Koiki Media. And that is Alison just went into that vehicle. We'll be meeting her again on the 30th when she returns back to the court. My name is Olami Koiki reporting for Star Radio UK. And once again,
gbogbo àwọn tán jọ kówó jẹ ó máa lóye tán máa fún yẹn náà ó máa lóye tán máa fún wọn. Dúpẹ́ tí ọwọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá bá tẹ̀ eléyìí ọmọ Nàìjíríà ni.
Thank you so much.
Ọmọ Nàìjíríà ni eléyìí owó Nàìjíríà òun leléyìí òun ló ń sọ. Tí ọwọ́ wa tó bá tẹ̀ ẹ́ ní London Dúpẹ́ a máa ya ẹ́ jẹ ni. Ẹni tó máa ya itan ẹ̀ tó máa gba ẹsẹ̀ tó máa gba irun orí ẹ̀ tó máa gba ojú ẹ̀ tó máa gba àtẹ́lẹsẹ̀ yes. Bọ́n èyí tó máa ṣe fún ẹ eléyìí torí pé nǹkan Nàìjíríà lélẹ̀ owó gbogbo ayé owó gbogbo ìlú òun lélẹ̀ bọ̀ tí Yorùbá ọ̀rọ̀ tí Yorùbá tí ẹ kò ní parẹ́ nínú ìwé ìtàn tí wọ́n bá tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ìwọ máa bọ̀ Kóìkì ń wá ẹ̀ Kóìkì àti gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ogun tó kù à ń dúró díẹ̀ ní UK. Now ọ̀rọ̀ ló máa ń kómọrò wá ẹ má bínú gbogbo ẹ̀yin tèmi inú ọmọ àlè lórí inú tí ò kì í bí ọmọ àlè lọ ń bẹ̀ tí ò kì í gbọ́ bọ̀tọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni yìí sẹ́ ẹ wo obìnrin eléyìí náà kẹ wá wo nǹkan tí Dúpẹ́ ń ṣe fún wa nǹkan tó fà gọgọgọgọ nìyẹn ẹni tó bá mọ nǹkan tó ṣe bó ṣe béèyàn ṣe ń fi ilẹ̀ mi mọ̀ bóyá alẹ́ni tó bá gèjẹ òun ló máa mọ̀ tó bá rápa yẹn pé alápẹ̀tẹ̀ báyìí òun ló gé mi jẹ bọ̀ ìwọ tó ń bá gèjẹ tó kàn rẹ́ni tó ń gèjẹ wa máa ní ṣèbó kàn gé ẹ jẹ ni ṣó wàá ju eyín lọ ni ṣe rí yàtọ̀ yìí ṣe mọ̀ pé yàtọ̀ wà ńbẹ̀ now.
The food post, all posts were different, all profits, all the food
in between. This is the gridlock, and these are the casualties. Fuel tankers are exploding, diesel tankers are falling and exploding because of the bad roads. This is October 1st. in Nigeria, in Delta State, Ologboto Cocoa has become a death trap for Nigerians, a national crisis that needs the attention of the road safety, the army, the police, the Federal Ministry of Works. What are you people doing? Look at a gridlock for days. A journey of 30 minutes become a journey of 4-5 days. People are dying. People are stranded. Tankers are exploding. People are, because of the gridlock, when the tanker explodes, everybody around them are consuming the fire. Nigeria, today is October 1st. October 1st. The government of the day, what is your reaction? Look at Nigerians. Is there a government in place that you can have a gridlock for weeks and months on end, and there is no response? No response till now. Lives have been lost. This is Cocoa, Ologbo in between. In Delta State, people are stranded. People spend days on the road of a journey of 30 minutes. The Federal Minister of Works, Umahi, please, what is your reaction to this crisis? This is a national crisis. Are you people celebrating independence? There is nothing to celebrate. There is nothing to celebrate in Nigeria. Look at Nigerians. Look at Nigerians. People have been aflamed from the collusion of the gridlock by bad roads. Bad road without palliative. Bad road without alternative routes. Bad road without coordination. Look at, people are still burning. People are still burning. Vehicles are burning. Nigerians are dying in their hundreds and thousands for something that can easily be fixed. Bad roads. Benin Supply Road is a nightmare. Benin Supply Road is a nightmare. Benin Supply Road is a nightmare. Come to the aid of commuters. Come to the aid of commuters. Traveling has become a nightmare. Nigerians need help. October 1st, it should be a national day of mourning. Not a national day of celebrating independence. There's nothing to celebrate. There's nothing to celebrate. There's nothing to celebrate. See dead bodies on the floor. There's nothing to celebrate. See people on the floor, Nigeria. They just travel, just to travel. Just to travel. Nigerians will not get home again. Just to go on a journey. Nigerians will not get home again. Movement is a human right. It's a human right to travel. It's a human right to move. But to move has become a death trap. Moving has become a death trap in Nigeria. If you are not gotten by the kidnappers, the gridlock will not catch the people. Look at dead bodies all over. Dead bodies all over. Look at. Look at. Look at. Look at. Look at. Jesus.
Níbi tí àwọn kan tó ti ń celebrate independent wọn, tínú wọn ń dùn, tó ń gbàdúrà fún president wọn, tó ń dúró 1 minute pé thank God, a dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run, a rí 8 years, a dẹ̀ rí ọjọ́ ẹ̀ ní bó ṣe rí. Ìkan wo ló dáa? Nígbà tí Buhari wà ńbẹ̀, ló dájú eléyìí lọ. Nígbà tí Goodluck wà ńbẹ̀, ló dájú eléyìí lọ. Nígbà tí kìdí kan wà ńbẹ̀, ló dájú eléyìí lọ. Wọ́n máa ní nǹkan kan dájú kan lọ ni. Á lè tó ti kọjá yẹn dájú èyí tó wà ńbẹ̀ ni. Tí Tinubu bá tún kúrò ńbẹ̀, á nígbà Tinubu yìí á ló tún dájú ẹni tó tún bọ̀ ni o. Ìyẹn lè máa fi mọ̀ pé èpè kọ́. Àwọn tó wá kó wa papọ̀ gan, àwọn náà wá mọ̀ wípé àrùn kánsà tó wà yẹn wípé ó wà ní ara gbogbo àwọn olórí yẹn pátápátá. Bó kí ló fẹ́ ṣe sí? Ṣé bó yẹ kó rí nìyẹn? À ń blame àwọn òyìnbó. Àwa gangan tá a jẹ́ dúdú ńkọ́? Ẹ bá mi fi sí comment section. Báwo lọ̀rọ̀ dúdú, báwo ló ṣe rí báyìí? Aláwọn tán gbé ẹ̀sìn wá fún wa, àwọn gan ò preach láti lọ sí Saudi Arabia, lọ sí kinní láti yan ẹni tó fẹ́ vote, lọ gbàdúrà torí pé wọ́n fẹ́ wọbì kan, lọ bẹ̀ by fire by thunder, lọ síbẹ̀ wípé by force ṣáà ni àfàdé gbígbà, lọ ti torí ẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré play video ìtura máa tó mú ètò wa sópin báyìí.
that we are watching. It's a tragedy that we are all witnessing. What we're seeing in Nigeria today is part of that story. It's a tragedy that we are watching. It's a tragedy that we are all witnessing, because as we see things falling apart, the pressure this time is not foreign taken from the Nigerian people and hidden their ill-gotten gains here. We know that our banks, sadly, have been used for that profit and for that illegal transfer of assets. And that means that the UK is in an almost unique position in being able to actually do something to really exert pressure on those who have robbed the Nigerian people. Now, this puts a particular onus on the Minister, and I know my right honourable friend knows it, that using Magnitsky sanctions today isn't just about protecting Nigeria, although it is. It's not just about respecting Nigerian young people who have been robbed and murdered by these SARS units. It's actually about protecting the United Kingdom, because what happens in Nigeria matters fundamentally to us here. This is the third country of the Commonwealth. This is a country of 200 million people. It is going to be the great economic powerhouse of Africa and one of the great economic powerhouses of the world. This is a country whose wealth, not just in the oil off the river state, but in the imagination and creativity of its people, is witnessed every day in Nollywood, and perhaps more my style, at the great University of Jos. This is a country that gives so much to the world already, despite the fact that it is ill-governed, brutalized and robbed. Just imagine what it could give if the Plateau State
ẹ má bínú mi ò mute now akí bàbá akí ẹ̀gbọ́n akí àbúrò ìpè àkóbójú ọjọ́ ṣeré níbi ibi tẹ́ bá ti bá wa ṣe alábàápàdé ètò yìí, ẹ̀yin tó bá jẹ́ nígbà àkọ́kọ́ ẹ bá wa subscribe, ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ mi ẹ bá wa like, kẹ́dẹ̀ bá wa fi comment sílẹ̀, ẹ bá wa share ètò yìí kó lè dèbè tó yẹ kó dé. Báwo ni corruption báwo ló fẹ́ rí? Èmi ní èròǹgbà tèmi, mo ní tí Nàìjíríà tí ò bá fi corruption lẹ̀, corruption lè kúrò ní Nàìjíríà, kò lè kúrò ní Áfíríkà lápapọ̀. Number 2, tí Nàìjíríà tó ní kálukú ò bá lọ, kò sí bí corruption ṣe lè kúrò ní Nàìjíríà bó ṣe lè kúrò ní Áfíríkà, torí oníkálukú á lè rí ká mọ̀ wípé kò síbi tí ò sí corruption. Ẹ má gbàgbé yẹn, ẹ máa gbọ́ nínú nǹkan tí Professor Mulumba tó wí, ẹ máa rí wípé now ẹ máa rí wípé nílùú òyìnbó tá a wà nínú ẹ̀ gan corruption wà. Professor Lumumba wọ́n ti gbogbo ẹ̀ ló ń ṣàlàyé ẹ̀, gbogbo ẹ̀ náà dẹ̀ la mọ̀, but ìbẹ̀rù wà. Àwọn dẹ̀ mọ̀ wípé justice wà tán bá mú àwọn, torí ẹ̀ ó kéré, but ní Áfíríkà wọ́n mọ̀ wípé òfin wà, justice wà, but kò síbi tán ti fẹ́, kò sí bóyá èdè fẹ́ lọ. Ẹ worú obìnrin yìí ń sìn pẹ̀lú gbogbo owó tó ń ká mọ́ lọ́wọ́, kò sí nǹkan tó le tó fi jẹ́ wípé tó bá jẹ́ ìlú tó dáa, ó máa padà wá sí ìlú yẹn, ó máa wá fèsì ẹjọ́ yẹn nínú ìlú yẹn, tó dẹ̀ máa gba gbogbo property tó ní. Tó bá professor ti sọ̀rọ̀ ńbẹ̀ yẹn náà, tó bá mú àwọn kan tó gba property wọn tó fi wọn gbogbo ayé, gbogbo àwọn tó bá mú náà tó bá jẹ́ máa tún celebrate wọn ni. Ẹ ṣàárẹ ìtàn ni ó yẹ kó lọ bóyá kó lọ sí 8 years imprisonment, bóyá ó lọ bí 4 years àbí 3 years níbẹ̀ kó jẹ́ ó celebrate. Ẹ wò ìtàn gbé bí 5 million or 5,000 báwo, bẹ́ẹ̀ $5 million tó lọ gbé fún fowó bribe. Ṣé bí kámẹ́rà gbé gbogbo wa darí ń gbà ẹ̀ náà, ṣé kò ṣe ilé ayé ẹ̀ ni? Ẹ sọ náà, ẹ jẹ́ bá mi fi sí comment section èrò ti tèmi ni mo sọ yẹn o, èrò ti tèmi ni mo sọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà dẹ̀ lórí Dúpẹ́ Onítìrí náà nìyẹn. Onítìrí gbogbo wa pátápátá bá ṣe ń wa Kóìkì ń wa gbogbo wa pátápátá gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá bí kò sí ṣùgbọ́n tàbí nínú ẹ̀sẹ̀ 120 irọ́ ló ń pa fún wa. Irọ́ yìí ò tún gbọdọ̀ já ju báyìí lọ. Ìwọ ọ̀nà owó Nàìjíríà wọ́n ṣe gbogbo everything ní Nàìjíríà, ọlọ́pàá Nàìjíríà ó dẹ̀ ló ti declare ẹ ti gbàlú yín. Ó tún wá sọ pé òun sọ fún àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ kan, àwọn òpònú kan wípé wọ́n pè ẹ́ ni, wọ́n pè ẹ́. Ó wá lọ ọ̀nà àwọn tó pè ẹ́ yẹn, ó wá rán bàbá kan, ó wá rán wọn lọ, àwọn wá lọ hide sí toilet. Àwọn èèyàn kan dẹ̀ ṣì ń believe. Ṣé mo sọ fún yín? Òjíṣẹ́ làwa tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Ọlọ́run máa ń fẹ́, ó máa ń jẹ́ ká sọ àsọtẹ́lẹ̀ ni. Àlówó tó ń gbà yẹn sẹ̀, ó fi hold yín ni. Because owó yẹn ló máa ní òun gbà lọ, òun sì ń gbà lọ. Because ó mọ̀ wípé owó yẹn, ìwọ̀n 3 years, owó yẹn ò lè pé. 4 years, á ti wá máa plan kí ni kóun tún wá ṣe, kí ni kóun tún wá ṣe. Pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn bàbá Fáríìtì yẹn àtàwọn ìjìnlẹ̀ àti gbogbo àwọn tó ń jọ wà ní kákọ́ọ̀s yẹn, ó mọ nǹkan tó ń lọ, ó kàn fi ń lo delay tactics fún àwọn èèyàn ni. Just common sense ni. Tí ẹ̀yin gan, ìwọ tó bá fẹ́ fi kọ́mẹ̀ntì tí ò ṣe kinní sílẹ̀, tí ìwọ gan ò bá jẹ́ni tó níbẹ̀rù, ta ló tiẹ̀ dẹ̀ níbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run nínú gbogbo everybody gan? Ta ló níbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run? Ta ló ní, including pastor, àáfà, babaláwo, baba whatever, gbogbo everybody, ta ló níbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run? Ta ló ní ìbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run? Oh my God, ẹ jẹ́ ká mẹ́tò wálé. K'Ọlọ́run kó ṣe dáadáa fún wa. Mú kí gbogbo wa ipa kú bójú ọjọ́ ṣe rí. God bless you. Èyí tí ń bá sọ, ẹnu ló gbé mi. Èèyàn náà lèmi náà. Alára ẹran ni mí. Ẹ ṣàforíjì. Now, èyí tó bá dẹ̀ wá òkè, tó bá dùn mọ́ yín nínú, èmi náà kọ́, Ọlọ́run ló kọ́ mi mọ̀ ṣe. Èmi ò gbọ́n tó ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílé, torí ẹ̀ ni mo ṣe máa ní ẹ fi kọ́mẹ̀ntì yín náà sílẹ̀. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. God bless you. Bye for now. One love.
You're welcome. Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel and follow on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.